look at all of these wonderful, top quality Chinese made products. All kinds of stuff right here. Fittings and hoses and lines and crazy breather tanks to make a custom one-off setup for this car to help reduce crankcase pressure with this new engine setup. And I'm hoping that this will do the trick. Yeah, I probably could have spent 3 times as much on already vetted setups, but why would I do that when I can save a whole lot of money and do it myself? Because that's what I do.
Because I'm crazy.
And you'll love it. So with that said, I guess let's get into the project. So briefly going over the parts list here, all of this was sourced from Amazon. The reason why I bit the bullet this time is because I knew most of what I could find would be available with great shipping times. Why I chose Amazon, I don't normally do. I usually just shop on eBay for cheap stuff like this because I can generally get it even cheaper than Amazon. But when you order so many different things that show up in 500 boxes, some of it will be delivered tomorrow, the other will be delivered next year, you never know. So that's why I went with Amazon, and I got all kinds of stuff. I have AN hoses of different sizes, -10, -8.
Big ass
breather tank. This is a vented breather tank. I have another, this is like a Mishimoto style, just like the one I have over here. Catch can, same type baffle and everything. All kinds of AN fittings to hopefully make this work. And there's going to be some custom pieces made along the way to make all of this come together. Hopefully it works as well in practice as it does in theory. I spent way too much time going over the possibilities of how to do this and how to do it effectively and how to do it cheap. Yes, there are plenty of breather kits on the market for the Ecoboost. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying I'm doing something special here. But those setups are usually hundreds of dollars, so expensive. We're talking about, for just one side of the engine, $300, and for the other side of the engine, another $200 or so, depending on what company and what brand you go with. So, I don't know. $500 for basically tanks to catch oil vapor doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, I'm going to design my own, and basically all the parts that I'm using for this setup costed me just over $200 altogether. Now I probably actually could have saved myself some money, and I probably could have done this under $200 if I was a bit more savvy and I wasn't kind of just buying parts blindly without knowing what actually worked, which is what I did. I probably have a lot of redundant parts in this pile here that I probably won't use or use in the capacity that I thought I would. But that's kind of what you have to do when you're creating your own stuff. So yeah, with that said, I still think I have a good solution here, and I think it will definitely work. So I guess first off, I should go ahead and start explaining kind of what I'm thinking. So the main reason for the baffled one, yes, this is baffled, but I meant to say vented. Main reason for the vented catch can or tank, whatever you would refer to this as, is to vent the valve cover. Now, I've noticed, especially on warm days, there is a lot of oil vapor that comes out of the top of this. And I know there's a lot of pressure that probably gets built up on top of here and it can't go anywhere. So instead, what it does is it comes through this line here. This is the only breather line. Comes out the back of the valve cover here. And then guess where it goes? Directly in front of the turbo. Because what happens when the turbo starts spooling up and it creates vacuum on the front side of the turbo, it helps evacuate any pressure up here. But if there's an excessive amount of pressure and lots of vapor and nothing to catch it, all that oil, all that vapor is just going straight into the turbo. It's going to condense, it's going to gunk everything up, it's going to get coated in all your lines, in the intercooler, and it can make its way up into the intake, of course, then getting on the backs of the valves and doing everything you don't want to do, which is why you run a catch can in the first place. So, to mitigate pressure up here, that's what this tank is for. I'm thinking about putting it over here somewhere in this nice opening. Thankfully the Mishimoto intake doesn't take up this whole section like some other intakes do, which I actually like. So I think I'm gonna, my thoughts are to put it here and basically just run a line from the top of the valve cover over to this, and then it can, all that oil vapor can come down in here and it can collect, condense, and then any additional pressure can vent from, the top here. Well, Kirk, why didn't you just save yourself a whole bunch of money and get one of those little filters that stick on top of the oil fill cap and then vent from there? Because honestly, I think they're dumb. Damn! And the reason being is, once all that oil vapor gets all up in that filter, it's just like a cotton gauze filter, like a K&N or something. All that oil vapor gets up there. Once it condenses, what does it do? It just junks up all that, and then it blocks it. So then it just becomes pointless. You gotta constantly clean it so it doesn't have all that condensed oil in it. It makes a hell of a mess. It would just probably coat everything in oil over here. And I think it's dumb. I don't think it's really worth it. When you utilize a setup like this, the oil vapor has somewhere to collect after it condenses. That's the thing. Once it condenses, it collects in the tank. And then additional pressure is released to atmosphere. It don't have a chance to do that when you just put a filter straight on the oil fill. That's my take on that. Now this one is specifically going to sit over here somewhere. I'm thinking I'm going to put it right there. Just like that. I'm going to have to make some kind of bracket right there. That's a nice place for it. Puts it in a good spot. Easy to get to. Easy to access when I need to drain it. And that one is specifically to intercept this line here on this side of the breather. Hopefully, any extra oil vapor that happens to come out of that during boost, this will catch most of it. Any additional pressure will be released through this. So with all that out of the way, I guess it's kind of, time to start mocking things up and trying to see where I'm gonna put everything. This is completely custom. I have to make everything, my own brackets. I have to figure out where I'm mounting all this. I have to cut and make my hoses. I guess let's start with that. All right, so I've taken a few minutes and I've looked around. Obviously, I want to put this tank, sorry, I gotta flip it around. This tank over here somewhere, but I don't really see any good place to mount it. I mean, I could make a bracket, but that'd be one hell of a bracket, and I'm not really good at that. I wouldn't say. Not yet, at least. I don't want to mount it like that because I want it to be level. I thought there was more room over here, but there isn't. I thought to mount it this way on the intake box, but as you can see, it's too wide. I could put it that way. Oh, you know what? Look, I could put it like that. Oh, I mean, that's better because it puts the ports, the inlets, right here. It's going in the right direction because I bought 90-degree angles thinking I would have to bend it around from this way 180 degrees, but if I put it this way I can just use straight fittings I don't have. Yeah. Oh man, I think that might be the ticket. 2 holes in the intake box and a couple bolts and we're probably good-ish. I don't know. Let's go ahead and try that real quick. Alright, so I've been busy here. I just drilled. I just kind of roughly, oh god, you can't see shit. Hold on. There we go. There we go. So I just drilled 2 holes right here. Not sure how this is going to work, but let's go ahead. Slap that baby on there. It's looking promising. Alright, put our nut on. Gotta get our nut on. Not our nut off, our nut on. You never want a nut off. Do you? Do you want a nut off? Alright, wow, look at that. It's like it was made to go there. That will definitely work. I put it down this far so the filters should sit, let me grab one real quick. The filter should sit close to flush, there we go, with the top of the intake box. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Custom, baby. That was a little bit easier than I was expecting. So now comes the line, which this one's actually pretty easy. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself for this one, because behind the scenes, actually even before I started making this video, I was prepping some of the parts for this project. It took me a couple days to get some of these parts. Well, it didn't take all of a day, but because I had to stop and do other things and stuff, it took me a couple days to make these, but I am proud. So you're probably asking yourself, how the hell are you gonna vent it out of the top of the valve cover? You just wanna tap a hole? A lot of people do, just tap holes right here, bam, 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 running a breather. I'm not doing that because I'm not taking this off. So what do? I just modify factory parts naturally with parts I can find off the internet. And this is what I have made. Look at this monstrosity. Now, for people who may not know, over here, here's your oil fill cap, right? The funny part is this was on the car before. So that was like that. And then the oil fill cap usually goes inside of there. All this dang thing is an adapter, an extender, because when these engines have the, you know, the beauty cover on them, this brings that up flush with the beauty cover just over it. So all I did was, so this fitting here, I'll show you a screenshot on the page of what it is. This is a -10 fitting to go on, you know, the screw in to a factory valve cover for an LS engine. Now I took the measurements and everything, and it was all the same. The inside diameter was the same. What the product page didn't tell me, which is what I ended up having to work around for, was the outside diameter. The outside diameter of this piece was definitely a lot bigger than this piece, and it would not screw in because I wanted to retain this factory lock style where you can just twist it, whatnot, and I wanted to do it with just this fitting only. But what I had to do instead was basically sand out until it was the right size, the inside of this piece, and then I kind of had to just screw this in and kind of thread it into the plastic, and then it's got the seal there that seals up against it. So now this is kind of like its own special fitting, but still, I can still put it on with that twist lock, just like that. And going forward, when I have to go do oil, instead of having this there, I'll have this, but I can still twist it, remove the whole line, and have my oil fill. I got a 90 here. A 90 is gonna go on top of that. And where does that put us? Oh, that sticks up a lot farther, a lot higher than I was thinking. It kind of looks kind of goofy. I've actually had this line. This is not part of the new hose that I bought. I had this laying around from a past project, but I think this will actually be almost perfect in length. You know, so I'm gonna go up there like that, and it's gonna more or less snake back like that, and it's gonna come out right here. Now my problem here is, like I said, I bought two 90 degrees. Where's that other fitting? Nope, that ain't it. Here we go. I bought two 90-degree fittings thinking this is what I needed to use, and they were -10. So this part goes in here. And, you know, now I don't think I'm going to need them because I can't really use a 90-degree here because it'd be stupid to kick it up this way. I put it in a weird angle, or kick it that way, or any other way but straight, because it literally comes down perfectly straight. Thankfully, I have this. It is a straight -10. I'll go on here something like this. Alright, there we go. I just didn't want that color going on, the red-blue thing going on. I bought black fittings with the stainless just to give it a little pop to accent some of these lighter colors I had going on in the engine bay. Because I was just going to get the black nylon braided tubing, but I thought the stainless would just add a little bit of with all the black. But see, that goes there like that. That comes up here like, oh, look, it's like, I don't even think I have to cut this hose. I think it's the perfect damn length. Oh shit. Gotta love when that happens. Oh, Lord have mercy. So I got my line made here. By the way, it's the first time I've actually made lines myself. Not really hard, just kind of a pain in the ass, as all. but not too bad. I did goof up this fitting, but I don't care because this fitting was ugly and I hate it, so whatever. Yeah, just kind of finishing, tightening it down up top here, but ooh. Look at that. How nice is that? And I can still twist this to pull it off. See, put it on, twist like a normal oil cap, done. And this one's pretty much done. Now I gotta work on this side. Before I start even running lines, I gotta go ahead and get my mounting situation done here for catch cans. So let me think about this a second. And cool, so I got things figured out. It's like perfect. So these are just, you know, little aluminum, I don't know what they were for originally, but what I'm gonna use them for, I mean, it's pretty much perfect. Look, it's already got a hole drilled in the top there, just like that. I just have to drill a hole right here to mount the catch can. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, like that. Look at that, it was perfect. Boom, perfect. So let me go ahead and get that ground off. I'm gonna have to disconnect the battery real quick. And I'm gonna get this mounted real quick with the catch can on it. So just a second.
Many hours later.
Man, look at that sky. Holy crap. It's a new day and we're about to get some wicked weather here soon, which is why I need to hurry the hell up. So now we can go ahead and put this on and we'll start running our lines and seeing how everything looks. So let me get this on real quick. All right, with this other catch can on, I'll go ahead and put my fittings on here. I'm using two 90-degree fittings over here as well, but these are -8, so this whole side's -8. That's not going to work. I didn't realize that this would position the outlets that way. As much as I hate to do it, yeah, I just have to make it work, I guess. It's the only problem when you make your own stuff. You make your own problems along with it. I don't know, I kind of like a good challenge, figuring out what works and what doesn't. I think that's like half the fun for me anyway, with cars. All right, I got both 90s on there, so I'm just gonna loosen up bolts on top here of the catch can and see if I can clock it a little bit differently. Maybe it will give me a better angle on those fittings. I don't know, I'm gonna have to play with it, I guess, once I get the hose on. And if you're wondering how in the hell am I even gonna make this work? So I got this piece here. So this is -8 hose fitting here. Then I have a -8 to -10 adapter, reducer, expander in my case here. And then I have a -10 to 5/8 barbed fitting. So after a lot more time than I anticipated, I've come up with this solution. So I had this like really nice, like glossy, some type of tubing I had for some project, but it's nice because it is a nice snug fit, it looks good, and hopefully, if I did everything correctly, it should fit decently. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It looks like it belongs there. There we go. So that looks good. And then off of this, then can come the 90 like that. And that will put, let's see, 90. Oh, look, that's like a straight shot now. Boom, right there. Straight shot. Oh, I couldn't have done that better if I tried. So now I just need to cut my hose and get my ends on for the -8 lines. And man, we're coming to a close and I'm really running out of time. The weather is getting really nasty. I'm starting to hear a lot of thunder. This storm system's already caused a few tornadoes, supposedly in the panhandle of Florida. So I don't know what it's gonna do when it gets here. It's supposed to be here around 3 or 4, and I don't even know what time it is. 2:30. So I'm losing time, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to even finish this, which will suck, but I'm gonna try. So let me get these hoses made up, put this on, and we'll check fitment. while I was pretty much left with nothing to do, I actually just finished up the lines. Since I couldn't really be out in the car, I already had my measurements. I finished up all my lines. That way I can just finish up this video. Alright, don't ask me why my freaking GoPro just died, so I had to switch over to my phone. Like I said, I'm going to start putting our lines on here and finish this project up. Remember this line here, like that. Alright, there it goes. Kind of hard to do that with one hand. So there's that line there. So we'll go ahead and put a return line here. Here we go. Alright, so that side is done. So not too bad. I just need to kind of clean up a little bit of how everything is. But it's not too bad. I'm actually not terribly upset with the result. So that side is good. This side is pretty much done. And then screw on our -10 line. And that's it. Hey, we're finally done. Holy crap. We are finally done. That is it. So, good. This side now has a catch can. This side has a catch can and the top of it is venting to atmosphere. This should help a lot with catching oil vapor from going in places it doesn't belong and venting excessive pressure just so oil doesn't get the places it doesn't belong. So cool. Maybe in the future I might change this up a little bit, but for now this is definitely an improvement over a factory setup, which this new combo is exceeding. And it definitely does not look stock now. You can tell this is not stock. I mean, this whole dang thing is just completely aftermarket now. Wasn't my plan with this car, but here we are. You know, and at least when you pop the hood, it looks serious. Like, okay, you don't see all this crap on a factory car. Something's up with this engine. And if Buster's happy, that means Buster's going to not break, and that means my wallet's happy. And if my wallet is happy, then I am happy. And that's all that is important. So, I think that's going to finally wrap it up here for this video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with everyone you know if you want to see more content like this and you haven't already. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Keep looking out for the next Karz Created video.